Hello everyone, welcome to ChocoChips Radio. Tonight we have Mr. Daniel Akash, and I would not say much about him because, again, this has been a tradition on ChocoChips Radio podcast that I do not spill the beans. I let my guests introduce themselves, right? But I would like to say that when I met him for the first time, I thought that, hey, how can somebody be pumped up with so much energy always? If you spend 2 to 5 minutes with him, you start inducing his energy. And he comes from a very different background. He is interested in very different fields. So we are going to have a wonderful roller coaster ride. And also, in his words, whenever anybody is sad, he keeps saying, "Hey man, pump up, man, come on, come on." So that's how he talks. So yes, Akash, welcome on this podcast, and good evening. So how are you
Thank you so
doing,
much,
first of
man.
all? Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for calling me over here. I've been seeing the progress of your channel since the beginning, and yeah, I'm glad like it finally came here, and you're doing a lot of things. A lot of people only plan things, but you're putting them to action. So it feels really good to see things moving. The gears in motion, right? And yes, of course, like I'm really glad that you called me. I'm like super happy. Had a long weekend thanks to Ganpati Bappa. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's very chill, very relaxed. I'm happy. Yeah.
That's great, Akash. So we are honored here at Choco Chips Incorporation to host you as the guest of honor. So although I know about you, but for our audience, for our viewers, if you can introduce yourself a little bit, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't know how much is to say, how much is there to say about me, but I'll start from the beginning, I guess, and I'll like
Sure,
keep it very
sure.
short.
The stage is yours.
I'm from, yeah. Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, so I'm from Andhra Pradesh, and you guys need to know that because that gives a lot of context, right? I'm from this coastal city of Vizag. My father would and is still working there. So yeah, I grew up there pretty much like in the same school. And like many other kids from Andhra Pradesh, like you have like a set track to go through, right? And those two are like MBBS and engineering, right? And for a guy, it's like okay, like the best thing is mechanical engineering, go to it, right? So that's how I mean, like I was actually pretty decent at like science and stuff, math. I was pretty good at it. Probably that's how I ended up in that mechanical engineering stream for my undergrad. Yeah, so I did my undergrad in IT Madras, but the thing is, I've never gone there with like a goal in mind, right? So because I want to do a lot of other things in life, like right from the very beginning, like from the school age, I was like a creatively inclined person, would draw a lot of random things. Thanks to my parents. Actually, thanks to my parents a lot because yeah, they would like fuel my creative pursuits by putting me in all sorts of classes and like opening me up to opportunities. So yeah, once I reached college, because it's an IIT, it's like they have like a really good uh, already established social system where you can explore stuff whatever you want, be it anything, even if it's like creative stuff. So yeah, over there, I fell in love with music. I started learning guitar and picked up art again. And immediately after that, what happened was I came into education because of the first reason I told, which was Andhra Pradesh. So, in general, I found this in India, but especially in Andhra Pradesh, a lot of students, especially I felt like students like me who were very introvert. Uh,
Nobody is going to believe that you were an introvert, by the way. I mean, at least it is very difficult for me to believe that you were an introvert at some point of time, to be very honest.
yeah, I totally get that, man. I totally get that. My girlfriend also says the same. It's like you're not an introvert, but yeah, like I am like this right now because of Teach for India. That was where my education journey started. It was a great place to be in for someone like me. It was a challenge for me because, like, as I told, I was an introvert. I wouldn't be able to speak to a group of people, even to my professors in the college, right? So I took it as a challenge because when you're teaching, you have to be there out there every day, like interacting, like I think 10 plus hours a day, right? And even beyond your work time, right? So yeah, anyway, Teach for India happened, and then I found through some friends and avenues, like I found that football coaching was a thing in India. I fell in love with football during my college. I actually started playing it before college. During my college, I took it a lot more seriously, but then I didn't know that there were a lot of opportunities. I was naive, I guess. I didn't do my research. But yeah, once I came to know that there were opportunities, yes, I went to football. Yeah, and I became a football coach. So I'm a
Yeah, we
licensed
all can
football
see
coach too.
that flag waving at your background. We can already see that, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you have that problem.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry.
No, no,
Yeah,
why? Sorry, come on. Yeah. So, but I was about the notion that you were in football since childhood. Even this is new for me that I was not aware that you came into football after your college or maybe started playing and came after your college. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful to know. Yeah.
या नहीं भाई नहीं आंध्र में तो कुछ भी नहीं है भाई बस क्रिकेट होता था एंड आई वाज सो बैड एट आई वुड प्ले क्रिकेट आई वाज सो बैड एट दैट a right hand batsman would hold the bat like this. I would hold the bat like this and play.
Oh,
I was so bad at it.
okay.
Yeah, they would put me in like third man during fielding. Ball doesn't come there, so things like that used to happen. But yeah, yeah, no football
Cool.
in Andhra. Yeah. So anyway, that's how I'm in education. I love teaching people and interacting with kids, especially because I always believe that early intervention is needed for a lot of kids, especially the underprivileged. And by underprivileged, I mean people from all kinds of like social classes too. Even if you're a middle class family, right, you can still be underprivileged depending on which religion or caste you are. So yeah, so I felt like I could do something there. That's why I'm in education.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So even I know about some of the facets of this journey, but the way you narrated it, even I'm mesmerized. You have so much diversity. First, in your personality, and second, professional wise, you have so much diversity and plethora of experience in different things. So many colors to offer. That's great. So yeah, the way I perceive you is I remember that you told me that hey, more than an orator or an author or a philosopher, I'm more like a traveler. And in my mind, whenever I have met you, there is a beautiful picture in my mind that okay, a boy in California countryside roaming around in the street with his traveling guitar, singing Hotel California, and a lot of girls are chasing him. So that kind of picture is there in my mind, right? And you have been such a person who is like a free bird, uncaged, free flowing, very happy to go lucky kind of person. So here on this point, I would like to start with this that hey, what is your idea of freedom and how do you manage to be the way you are, like an unbothered, happy go lucky person, as I mentioned? So, what is that motivation? Because these days we see people going into anxiety, depression a lot. But if I compare them with you, I haven't seen you being shaken in any situation as far as I have seen you or known you. But yeah, so please throw some light on that.
Yeah, yeah. I think people are wondering, hey, how does he know me? We are colleagues, guys. We work in the same company. But that's how he knows me. And we started off as colleagues. I would like to believe that on some level you're friends now. So yeah, that's why I'm saying all these things. But I feel like it was bold of you to say that I'm unbothered. I feel like I'm bothered all the time. But
That is
I
at least
guess,
not reflected anywhere, maybe in
yeah,
your writing or expression or talks. Nowhere I have seen that.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think I've mastered the art of like blocking that out. I believe it was not a conscious choice. I think I was always like this as a person, but thankfully, like the social support system I had, my own family, my friends, a lot of people that I've come across and interacted with or gained acquaintances with, right? So like they've all been very kind. to me in a lot of ways. I feel like that is one of the biggest reasons why I am the way I am, right? And also the second thing, I feel actually this could probably be a bigger thing, privilege, right? I feel like I just started noticing that I come from a place of privilege in the sense that I'm a male, right? And like being a male in Indian society, like it comes with its own privilege, right? So a lot of factors, privilege being one of them, a great social net to fall upon, being one of them. I have had my fair share of like downward trajectories, but like yeah, there was always someone to like pull me out through that. So yeah, these I would say
So
these two are the factors. Yeah.
yeah, definitely you are correct that being a male in Indian society definitely has an added advantage. But on the top of it, I would also like to understand that, hey, these days when there is a lot of advent of social media, everybody is subjected to a lot of pieces of information. So, in this era, also, how do you maintain your composure and calm? Would you like to say or talk to somebody who is in depression? What would you like to suggest? Because I have seen this happening once or twice. I was actually very low, but then I had an interaction with you, and just after 5 minutes, I was feeling very lively. So maybe you have, yeah, you have that therapeutic nature inside you, or maybe what would you like to tell somebody who is going through a rough patch right now?
I don't feel like I'm the best at giving suggestions. I feel like I should receive a lot of them because I'm not the best orator and also not probably not in the best place to give suggestions to someone. Just like directions maybe, but never a suggestion. But yeah, I think like it's funny that you told it was very therapeutic. Like a lot of my friends who come to my place, they're like, "Hey, you got a couch, you got a chair. Why don't you start your own like therapy company or whatever?" Right? So I feel like uh, I'm a good active listener. Um, I think that's what I think that's the biggest factor in people feeling like they're being heard or like I think yeah, I feel like just listening to them actively and actually understanding, trying to understand what they're going through, right? That should like elevate half the burden. But like other than that, I don't know, man. Uh, Go to therapist. That's what I would say because I myself went to one. It is a huge taboo still, especially like for people from our generation and before. Thankfully, the newer generation kids have been exposed to mental health and all the things that revolve around that a lot, especially through social media. But yeah, like go to a therapist, I would say. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty
Okay,
much
cool,
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one point we can draw is that you are an active listener, right? So, and in fact, I also feel that most of the times people feel that we need to give suggestions, but rather than that, if you have a shoulder to cry, that is all we need at times. So that's
For sure.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah,
For sure. Yeah.
cool.
Definitely.
So
God knows
as we
I've had
can,
my fair
yeah.
share of cries on different shoulders. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
That was
Carry on,
wonderfully
bro.
put. Yes. So, as we can see that the guest which we have tonight has different colors and different shades, right? Coming from IIT, going to teach for India, football, so lively as a person, different interest areas, art, music. We are going to talk about everything which he does in his life. Just hold your seat belts tight, and you, as I said in the beginning, you are going to have a roller coaster ride. So, moving on, Akash, to the second dimension of your personality. These are your exact words, okay? So, I'll repeat them exactly the way you said. You said that at some point of time you want to become a mountaineer who is focused on sustainable mountaineering and uplifting of the Sherpas. Now, whenever somebody listens to it, the first thought which came into my mind was the idea itself is very unique, and maybe some Bollywood producer might be interested in you to cast you in some movie or make a biopic, right? It's a very different thought. Nobody thinks like this in normal day to day life. People do not think that, hey, I want to uplift the life of Sherpas. Forget about anybody else. I mean, it's a very different ball game altogether which you are playing. So you might have had some of the inspirations in your life, right? So that you are choosing this path. So can you throw some light there that who is your inspiration in life? How do you choose mountaineering, that to what is sustainable mountaineering, and also how do you feel like you relate so much with Sherpas? Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, firstly, if there's any producers out there listening to this, please, let's do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rajmouli sir. Yes, I'm waiting for you. No, but yeah. So the love for mountains, I believe, started from a very early age. Actually, like it's not just for mountains to nature. As I said, I grew up in Vizag, right? That's like it's like a coastal area, right? And my parents uh, would take us out a lot just to roam around, just go and sit in woods or like go to the beach and play with sand. Anything, just go and sit there for hours and observe nature, right? So I think from then onwards, I fell in love with nature. I I continued doing that at like the best capacity I could because money takes money travel, and you don't always have the money. But yeah, whenever I had the money, I would, especially when I was in Chennai, I would go to this Chennai trekking club where they would like take us on like a lot of adventures. One of them being there's this navigation course. Okay, that what happens over there was. You're a group of like three people. The trek guide gives you a physical map, a topographical map of the forest. Okay, and you have to cover a few points in the forest, which is like a few square kilometers area, and then get to the end, which is like deep inside the forest, right? That's like the base camp for the night. So yeah, so once I did that course, which was crazy, because we got lost on our way a few times, we ran out of water, like almost gave up and things like that. But like doing that somehow uh, like made my mind and body like extremely free. Even though I was really tired, I was actually flying in my own world, right? So um, I felt like the Richard, the person who was leading the Chennai Trekking Club back then. I don't know if he's still leading now. Um, Looking at him, it was very inspirational. He made sure that everyone was okay. Like he made sure that we're not dumping stuff here and there. Trash by trash, I mean, and collecting our own trash to get back and throw it in the city, right? So yeah, that was very inspirational. And since then, I started researching on my own about mountains. The dream is still on. I'm not doing anything towards it right now, but hopefully soon I'll get there. And specifically for the question, I'm wondering why did you ask? Why do you focus on the part about the Sherpas? Like, why do you
Yeah.
feel like
So
you wanted to focus on the Sherpas? Yeah.
no, no. So I wanted, first of all, that's a great story, by the way. And taking inspiration from real life heroes is what we lack, I believe. We often look for inspiration in great people where inspirations are available around us. So, what I mean by my question is, I mean, in general thought, nobody would think that, hey, one day I will try working in that direction to uplift Sherpas. It's a very different thought altogether, right? And I mean, if you ask somebody, maybe somebody would like to say that, hey, I want to maybe direct a movie, a great movie or something. This is a very, very different thought and a very less traveled path. So that was my question, that how do you get that click of insight that, hey, maybe I want to do something for the Sherpas? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I understand. So, okay. So then there is a story behind this. I was still in college. And in 2014, I believe. So what happens during the climbing season, just before the climbing season is, The Sherpas, which if people didn't know, it was a community of people. It's not from the same race or religion. It is just a community of climbers that live in Nepal, right? And what they do is um, they set up routes, the ropes, the ladders, and everything that is required. They carry the whole tents, all the luggage, the oxygen tanks, everything that's required for another person to climb freely without any of those burdens, right? So, firstly, though these guys are badasses, okay, just for that, like real life heroes, the feats that some of them achieve, like I can't even start speaking about them. We'll just pass the whole night, right? Yeah. Anyway, on this fateful day in 2014, the Mount Everest climbing season just started. And if you guys didn't know about Mount Everest, there, of course, it's the tallest mountain on the planet. But apart from that, it's also the most commercialized. Like hundreds of people climb through it every climbing season, which I'm kind of against because like the instance like this would happen. Anyway, there is at the base of Mount Everest is something called Khumbu Glacier. Okay, and just the starting point of the glacier is called Khumbu Icefall. Okay, and it is widely believed to be one of the toughest paths to go through for any mountaineer. It's like a badge of honor to go through that, right? So Sherpas, what they do is they set up all these ladders to cross all the crevices and like set the ropes up. So just like before every climbing season they were doing, what happened was there was uh, like a like a serac. It's like a snow mountain that's overhanging on the glacier. It just broke apart and fell and killed 16 climbers, 16
Oh,
Sherpas.
that's
Okay.
tragic. Yeah.
That, yeah, that was pretty tragic. But yeah, this kind of situations do happen. Like it's like a risk that comes with mountaineering. But what infuriated me was how what happened after that, which is how the government dealt with it, how the people who paid for these Sherpas to set these up dealt with it. Like no one showed any sort of remorse or didn't take any huge step to bring about a change. Like in such processes, and or even like the compensation that the government gave to these families, right? Like it was like it was a joke to the families, to be honest, right? Nothing has still changed. These people still break their backs. There's a lot of other stories to it, like hey, why can't they? You might ask me, why can't they do a different job? They cannot because like there's a whole other story. But anyway, bottom line is this: these communities are suppressed by a lot of factors. Uh, Capitalism being one of them, the government itself suppressing, like even the communal whatever they have over there. There's a lot of factors, and I feel like they don't. Their voices need to be heard. So yeah, that is one of the biggest reasons. Yeah.
Wow. So that is really, I mean, shocking. I think that very few of us know about this. Thanks for sharing it. And also now I see
Mm.
the point that why do you want to do such thing? It's a great and noble
Mm.
endeavor. And even I'm also motivated to do something for them, although I'm not into mountaineering or physical activities
Yeah.
like you are. But the kind of situations you mentioned and the tragic
Yeah.
incidents. So that's why it is said, right, that in a person's life, there is one or two incidents which changes the person
Mm.
completely. So maybe that
So
was one
yeah.
such incident in your life, right? Yeah. I'm simply loving the conversation and getting inspired by you. And I'm sure our
Me too, man.
yeah,
Hopefully,
audiences as
yes.
well.
Guys, please show some love if you like it. I've been seeing a lot of your comments on his videos, uh, it's very positive and it's nice, warm to see people interacting with the post. More interaction in this video.
Thanks a
Chahiye.
lot,
200
Akash.
comments
Thanks a lot.
chahiye.
Yeah, like that random YouTuber says, मुझे इस वीडियो पे चाहिए इतने likes. Okay,
Chahiye,
cool.
chahiye.
Yeah. So that's really amazing. And see, you also mentioned, coming to the next note of conversation, you also mentioned that at some point of time you would like to uplift the status of sports or culture of sports in Andhra Pradesh by getting into sports management. That's what you mentioned once, I remember. So, at every point of life, I see you taking a different path, the paths which are very less traveled. You are trying to be out of the box, you're trying to be very creative in terms of thoughts, in terms of actions. So, and also you choose a sport, football, which is not that popular in India. So I have two questions here. That what inspired you to choose football rather than cricket, and why India as a nation failed to love football that much the way we as a country love cricket. So what is that lagging factor? What is the pain point, and what can we do to remove this? Because what we see in our day-to-day life, if you ask somebody who is a fan of cricket, I don't think the person might know even the proper rules of football if he or she is not a football fan. So that craze is absolutely missing. So these two questions I would like you to answer or throw some light upon, and then I'll come to the second part of the question, that why Andhra Pradesh? Is it your tipping point or starting point, or it's just out of the choice that you were born there, or there are some bottlenecks in Andhra Pradesh related to sports? Yeah.
Awesome. How the heck do you remember all these things that I say, man? it's it's quite surprising. Like with the greatest of accuracy, the words that I am saying, like I don't know how you remember, dude. Hats off, like for your preparation behind this interview. It's crazy. Like for people who don't know, he sent me some just to prepare before the this conversation. He sent me a lot of details that like I myself have forgotten just to remember and prep for this. So hats off, good. Firstly,
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
second,
I love
yeah,
observing people. So basically, I love observing people, and I try to understand that from where the thought is coming. And if it is a good thought, I try
awesome.
to keep it in my head or maybe write it down somewhere. So yeah.
Okay, okay. Ooh, just like you said, it all starts with a thought. So nice, nice, dude. So to answer your Bismarcka essay question, uh, why football? Yeah, why football? So football was it like came to me by chance, to be honest. Like how I started playing football is very funny. One weekend in my 11th grade, some of my really close friends who I'm still friends with, and like one of like few of them are still live nearby me. They would already play football, and I was into like the other games like volleyball and basketball, volleyball mostly. Okay. Um, so one day they randomly called me. I went to the pitch, and then like something clicked. I started scoring goals. I started dribbling players. I felt like I belonged there. Okay, like I'm still chasing for a feeling like that. That experience that evening. But yeah, that's how I came across football. Instantly fell in love with it. Started playing a lot more. Started playing FIFA, which is it's like a game on the computer, right? So from there you learn a lot about like football that's going around in the world, and you see that it's like a world sport. It unifies, unites, and divides. It is all what do you say? I don't know. I'm forgetting the word. All consuming. That I think. Yeah.
Maybe
It,
like a
it's
world
a
anthem sort of something, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yes, anyway, I fell in love with football, but unfortunately, I came across the game very late. As I said, it was in 11th grade. I wish I started playing when I was a kid, preferably, I don't know, from LKG, UKG, the time my motor skills start developing. I think you can start from then. Like, if you go and see like these are stories from some of the coaches that I've worked with when I was in football. They would take their under 8 teams and go to like Spain and all. The level of football those Spanish kids or like European kids play, South American kids play is like it is beautiful to watch. It's very joyous to watch something like that. So I want to see something like that here. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of cricket being played very well, awesome. But cricket, it's a great sport. I myself enjoy watching it, excited for the World Cup. But cricket alienates a lot of cricket. I'm talking about like cricket where you play in the gully, right? It alienates a lot of players. Some players are just there, like just for the sake of being there, right? Which I felt was not the best way to use their time probably. So, but football, on the other hand, reduces that a lot. You can still be a bystander, but you still have to be agile and solve problems on the pitch along with other players, right? So that was, I felt like that was missing in Andhra Pradesh. Sports in general is, uh, you might have to censor a lot of words, man. Sports in general is subpar in Andhra Pradesh. Uh, like due to a lot of things, mostly probably due to corruption and I don't know, a lot of systemic issues over there. Just like doesn't allow anyone or doesn't give anyone the opportunity to excel as a sports person. And football, why? Because I love the game and I see a lot of opportunity there for me to add to it.
That's amazing. Even I love football, and in fact, I was also introduced to football not that late, but I used to watch World Cups with my father. I still do watch, but as a game, the love for that game, even I developed in grade 10 or 11, I guess. And in fact, even I wish that I would have played it earlier. But uh, do you believe that football as a game does not have that much of chance in India to survive? Not because of the skills of the players, but maybe because of the climatic conditions. Because the countries which are good at football, they are having not a climate like us, that we play football in 40 degrees, which is obviously not a good thing to do. Football requires a lot of running and sprinting and all. So, do you think climate is also a factor for us? And maybe even if we try, even if we train people, we won't be able to reach that pinnacle which the European countries, or let's say the South American countries, have reached. What do you feel about this?
That's a great question, man. Like even at some point in my life, even I also thought about this question. Ki, hey, are there any like huge, bigger reasons ki why we're not able to perform or like put like a solid team that can compete with the best of the world, right? Um, I feel like even geographically speaking, there are a lot of countries like that. We live very close to the equator, right? And even the South American countries, Mexico, a lot of African countries, some European countries too. Like they do live very close to the equator, and their climatic conditions are very similar to that. I feel like climate is not the factor. I would say it's like a minimal factor, to be honest. Maybe the diet that comes along with the climatic conditions could be a factor. Our South Asian diet, Indian diet especially, is probably not the best for a sports person. Especially as you come towards the south of it. Actually, like to be honest, like the whole country. But yeah, I don't think the climate plays much of a role though. I'll tell you why, because like you see countries like Japan now. Who are physically very close to us, I would say.
Yeah, true.
They are like excelling like crazy. You see them on the pitch, they
Yes.
run like they run
And
like crazy, man. Like the mental fortitude they have. Yeah, yes, you were saying?
no, in fact, there was a player, I don't know whether he plays these days or not, Park Ji-sung from
Hmm.
Korea. He was
Oh
termed
yeah,
as the
Pakistan,
double
yes.
oxygen tank or something like that, the way
Double
he
lung,
used
yeah,
to
yeah.
run. So yes,
Yes,
Japan
yes.
and
He checked his
Korea,
squad numbers.
they are a very positive example for us to think that we can also do well. Yeah,
Yes,
so that was
yes.
pretty much answered. Yes, you would like to add something to it?
Yeah. It's more of a cultural thing, I would say. Like the country as a whole, cultural and infrastructural. First thing, country as a whole, we don't emphasize on physical activity a lot. Um, like a few hotspots aside, right? Because if you look at European, I'm taking the example of European countries because like I observed them a lot. Everything else is probably anecdotal, but it might fit the thing that I'm saying. Right? They are very active. They walk a lot. The cities are built for people to go out there and physically try out stuff, right? And everyone in the family, even the oldest of the people, right? They try to push their physical boundaries a lot. They try to test themselves. Hey, can I do more? Can I do more? Right? Like that's why you see a lot of Europeans climbing the unclimbed mountains or swimming through the deepest of oceans with just one breath and then coming up. So it's insane. I feel like we have a few Indians that way too, but I feel like overall as a country, the culture is not aligned to that for a lot of reasons. I'm not saying that like whatever we're doing now is wrong. It's a result of a lot of factors, but still that can change if the change comes from the top. So yeah, definitely, man. Like I see some kids. So there was this is still fresh in my memory. Sorry, I'm like hogging the mic, but
No,
yeah,
no,
it's
no,
still.
come on. Yeah, the stage is all yours. You are the guest of honor. Yeah.
Oh man, I am honored, guys. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there's this one. When I was a football coach, there was this one match. It was an under 8 match. Okay, so you'll find 6 and 7 and 8 year old kids. Okay, it was a 7 versus 7 match, and it happened like a small like pitch nowhere to be seen. It was between like buildings and all, right? But when the match started, with the level of intensity the both teams showed, both of them were scoring goals, like doing some crazy dribbles, some excellent team defending. Slowly people started coming out from the buildings, and started cheering every move that the players were making. By the end of the match, it was like a mini stadium, and like I will never forget this. This is an experience that
Wow.
still gives me goosebumps. So yes, there. I feel like players are there, definitely there. Okay, the skills are definitely there, and the need for the sport is definitely there too. Because you saw people who probably have not watched a football match before, just coming and like being entertained by the sport, right? So I think everything is there. It's just that we don't have enough infrastructure. I feel like if there were like proper seating arrangement in that arena, maybe a lot more people would have come. Who knows, right? So yeah, infrastructure and I don't know what else. Yeah, just the culture of like physical activity to push your physical body to the limit, right? So all these things, I don't know, it's still not there. But yeah, you can bring about a change like one person at a time, I guess.
Great, great. So we should be very positive, and the way you described and summarized that why we are lagging right now in football is beautiful. So we can simply extract this part and maybe share it with everyone who loves football, and maybe who a kid watching who wants to play football in future, right? That's great. Even I love football to grow in our country, because if you see from economic perspective, if you see from international relations, football plays a huge role than that of cricket to establish good relationship with different countries, right? The very fact that football is played by so many more countries than the countries which play cricket, so it talks itself, right? So wonderful. Even I am very positive. So people, the kids especially who are watching it, would like to know, when are you opening your football academy?
No, football academy. I don't think I have the skills for that, to be honest. I'm a great coach. I feel like it was a struggle for me to identify myself as a good coach, but I feel like I have some strengths. I think coaching is my thing. Also, coaching not just the kids, but coaching other coaches can be my thing. Own academy, अरे उसके लिए business acumen चाहिए. मेरे पास वो नहीं है. I'm very bad with money. I guess that's why I want to study sports management. So
Ah,
let's
okay,
see.
okay. Cool, but I'm highly positive about it, and it would be wonderful to work with a coach like you. Anybody who would be getting you as a coach, I can just imagine that every day will be a joyful day, coming to the ground will be a very joyful experience. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was fun times for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yes, that I can ensure.
Awesome, awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Cool. Now, moving to the next part of your personality, next shade of your personality. You told me once that, hey,
Gajni.
yeah, yeah. All right. So you told me once that, hey, you want to, or you are an artist who wants to find out the center of his creative black hole. That statement itself is huge, and it's pretty well crafted. How do you arrive at those kind of wonderful statements? You said that you are not an orator, but you speak like this, then nobody would believe that you are not a good orator. And the way you are speaking, the way you are enjoying this podcast, nobody would believe that, just like the way nobody would believe that you were an introvert or something. But yeah, so I get astonished every time. I get surprised every time about the different kinds of stuff which you do. You are pretty much an artist in terms of art. You love making sketches and other art forms. You are into music. You love cinema. You also have that clapboard, right, which is used in movies, which you showed me once, right? So that's really amazing. And in fact, with music, cinema, and art, I can relate with you. Although we are polar opposite personalities, but somehow we gel well. That's a great thing. So on that note, I would like to ask you that recently there has been a lot of discussions about AI coming in and engulfing a lot of artists and their creations. AI can produce music, AI can draw, AI can sing. So there is a lot of noise, I would say, about AI. I won't say it's a very soothing noise. A lot of fear mongering is there that, hey, artists would lose their job, music composers would lose their job. So, what is your honest opinion about this? Being an artist, do you think that this fear mongering is true, and do you feel that what would AI do to these art forms? That's the first thing I would like to know. Yeah.
Oh wow, how to answer this? So I've been fortunate enough to like cross paths with some artists and really good friends with a lot of artists. And by artists, I mean people who design fabrics, textiles, people who create music, people who actually make digital or physical art. Um, I've so I understand both the sides of this argument. Uh, I don't know what it would be like in the future. I can just hope for AI being used. Uh, how do I say, as a tool for making things better and easier, I would say, for the artists. I also get um, the fear mongering part, right? Because I, I feel like I can see the changes in market where like if you go and check for job listings for designers and all, you would see the pay being like meager, like it's very less, and it's kind of like a joke sometimes. This could probably be because of the advent of AI, because a lot of jobs like digital illustration or creative writing are definitely under a little bit of threat, I would say. But I feel like it's only because it's the beginning of this. I'm sure legally there'll be a lot of structures that would come into place, hopefully at least, which would protect the creator community. Um, but I also feel like AI can be used like a crazy uh, tool to elevate your own artistic skills. Like for example, if you are able to like we're talking about filmmaking, right? There's something called storyboarding that happens before a film,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
for
Yes.
animated films, right? You know storyboarding, I'm sure you must have done it.
Yeah.
That can be done very easily now with AI. You just go to like something like Midjourney, put in like a prompt and use the same reference image. You can create your own storyboard very quickly, even if you're not an
True.
artist, right? So when used well, I feel like it would accelerate a lot of things. You can, instead of maybe one movie in 1 year, I think you can make two, which is which is double output, right? That's crazy. So that way, I think AI is pretty cool. It's a really cool thing, man. I'm talking about AI in art. It's a really cool. I see artists. I don't know if you've heard about this artist Pratik Arora. If I hope I'm getting his name right. Pratik Arora on Instagram. The images that he creates. I feel like even though AI made the image, most of the image at least, like the idea still came from the artist, right? So you wouldn't see that anywhere else probably, like on the planet. The idea came from his mind. The image would look like this only because he made it and he processed it after the AI generated it, right? So yeah, I feel like AI can be used for great stuff. There's this, I don't know if you know of this YouTube channel called Corridor Digital. It's like an
Yeah, yeah,
animation
I
company.
know. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so they made this short film called Anime Rock, Paper, and Scissors. Okay, the specialty of the short film is made completely with reference images, of course, made completely with AI.
Wow.
So yeah, it is, and it is amazing not because it was made with AI, but still it was because of the creators who made a story and who used their creativity to leverage AI to make something that normally someone else wouldn't be able to make, maybe in the amount of time or with the amount of budget they had. So yeah,
So that
yeah,
ultimately
good and
means
bad
that
both.
you're,
Yeah.
yeah. So this has two sides, definitely, as you said. So that ultimately means that you believe, rather than questioning whether it is good or bad, we should try focusing on the prompt part more. If you are able to provide good prompt to the AI, then it is beneficial for you, and we should keep aside that fear mongering. That's what you mean, I believe.
I mean, like, uh, fear mongering is legit because some people are actually getting affected by it, right? You see people losing their jobs because AI is there. For sure, that happens. Uh, but I guess there's nothing else for us to do other than move ahead and incorporate AI in our lives, like leverage it to uh, and give better output. I guess, yeah. Just gain those skills,
Even,
and yeah,
yeah.
you'll be in yeah.
Even I feel that maybe if the leveraging part can be done well, so we will have much free time for other things to think upon. That's what I feel. That's the way I see AI. Because let's say if I leveraged AI for writing my emails, which has a particular template, then again, I can think about the highly creative pursuits like maybe poetry, which involves the better faculties of my mind. So I think that way there should be a balance. For example, when phones came, Steve Jobs had the idea that phones would be an extension of humans' body, which now it is. Actually, we are unable to live without our mobile phones and devices. Just like that, I think AI is also going to capture majority of our lives, but again, the creative pursuit will retain its essence. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like it's here to stay, right? AI. So hopefully, the people who have these tools in their hands, I'm talking about the people on the top, uh, some legal structures to protect creative people. Hopefully, that the governments act on. I feel like I believe I don't know. I think it's Chat GPT is it's banned in a lot of countries right now until the legal system is set up, right? So yeah, I hope more countries catch up with that and yeah, do the right thing, even though we can't expect the government to do it
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, so this is exactly why I introduced you as somebody who is very positive, very jolly. See, you are positive in everything, right? Whatever you are trying to say, you are trying to show a way forward so that we do not get into that gloom. So that's the essence or crux of your personality, which I really admire the most, because it is very difficult for me to be positive every time. So I feel that, okay, why can't I just say bluntly that no, right now you have to be sad? But you are not like that. You are looking at a different picture, right? So that's the exact thing I pointed out in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, as I told, I've only seen artists being affected by it. I myself am not affected by it. So I can only empathize maybe. and I'm not directly affected, or maybe I am, I don't know. But yeah, let us see. I think the optimism, as I told, comes from being in a place of privilege. Yeah, maybe if I'm really affected by it like directly, I would have a different opinion on this. I'll be like, screw AI, man. So
That is pretty honest, by the way. Very less people would acknowledge that it is coming out of a privilege. Because normally people would say, yeah, yeah, I'm very optimistic, my nature is like that. But you were very honest about it, that maybe a lot of it is coming from the privileges which I have. So that's great. But that's the art, right? How do you channelize your emotions? That's the exact art which we all should have. At least I'm trying to have those qualities where I can channelize my negative emotions towards the positive outburst of creativity. And as I said, that we are polar opposite people, right? And we uh, we see music in a very different way. You love music, which is mostly you love the country music, I believe, or the folk, or the raw form of music you love the most. Whereas for me, I love Mozart, Beethoven, and the classical ones, the melody part. But at least I know that both of us love good music, good and creative music. So my next question is that, hey, do you feel that as an artist of any form of art, whether it be music or art, these days, because of a lot of information overload and a lot of saturation points coming, people are throwing art as some form of trash. They are just tweaking things here and there, and they are believing that, hey, I'm being very creative. I am a creative artist. What do you feel about this? The content overload and the emotional overload, or information overload as well. So, what do you think about this?
is art getting saturated?
Yeah.
Because of because of our access to social media, where we see like thousands, hundreds of art per day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Is the
good
is the
question,
art
man.
form
No,
is the art form getting
yeah.
saturated because of these kind of things
Okay.
happening around us? Yeah.
Okay. Um. Is it? I want to ask you a reverse question. Like, what do you believe?
Well, I feel that although I have always believed in the openness of art, I believe that any form of art should be considered as a form of art, whether it is good or bad. But somehow down the lane, I feel that these days, art, the value of art is taking a backseat, and maybe everybody is trying to become an artist where they want it for popularity and they are not an artist inside, and that is creating the delusion, and that is creating saturation in art. That's what I feel, very honestly.
Okay, okay, like that. Okay. But I might have to kind of a little bit disagree with you here. You're talking about saturation, right? I feel like people who initially like forget about the social media era before all of this happened, and like go back to the medieval times even, right? People who were artists back then were themselves exposed to a lot of art that was happening around them, right? And I feel like cultures that allow people to explore and express will will give birth to evolved artists and evolved styles of art. So um, so yeah, right now I'm okay with people doing like a very simple thing or art for popularity or whatever. I'm okay with that because who knows, maybe the people around them or their own kids or people close to them get inspired by it in some way and they start their own art journey, right? So in that sense, I'm really okay with people doing whatever they want, right? It's just us up to us to filter out what we want to see. But yeah, I believe, like you said, the openness of with which we can access the art around the world, right? I believe it's beautiful, man. I see art that like I never thought I would see in my life every single day. And that's beautiful. Like I get to see inside the minds of different kinds of people and how they put on the canvas or music. And yeah, that is, I feel very uh, what do I say? Like blessed to be able to experience all of that. So yeah, I'm okay with the social media kind of art. Yeah.
No, no, definitely. Even I am okay with it. But what I feel is that let's say if you are getting subjected to a lot of art forms and that too without a time gap, without an interval of time, so don't you think that it is not giving us that vacuum to think more about the form which we saw? For example, let's say you saw one art form right now, and within 2 3 seconds you are looking at a different art form and your brain is not processing it, right? Your brain is not thinking about that art form. So don't you feel that it is actually creating more damage uh, than that of making us believe in the beauty of art or appreciating the beauty of art?
Oh yeah, I guess in that way, yeah, I can totally understand what you're saying because even for the creators, right, who are putting their art out there, maybe a few decades back, you would make one of these this kind of art in a few weeks or months. Now you have to we can make it every week, maybe, or sometimes every day. Like artists who are working as digital content creators or something like that. Digital illustrators. I mean, they have to make art every single day, which is very it's tough, man. Like it sucks the joy out of it for sure. I've seen people going through that, even the best of artists, most skilled of artists, right? So that way, yeah, I totally understand both for the creators and the people who are experiencing it. uh, I feel like, yeah, the value of each art piece is diminished because of this, because you see it for a few seconds and then go to the next one, right? And then you're not really processing. But again, yeah, that is up to the individual, I guess. This is like this is like this debate ki, hey, when you watch movies that are very violent, right? Or like I have a huge thing with this censor boards, especially the censor board of a country. You are censoring stuff that people already do themselves. Like why there's no point in censoring, right? So I mean, yeah. Wait, where was I? How did I come here? I totally got derailed by myself. But yeah, yes, they are. The quality of the importance of the art is definitely diminished. Uh, yeah, okay, yeah. I was talking about, yeah. It's up to the viewer, right, to decide how they want to consume the art. Yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool. So yeah, we can agree on that point that it is upon the viewer, and maybe if the viewer wants,
Mm,
he or she can have filters or decide that okay, I would subject myself to real good art
yes,
after some time
yes.
interval so that I can also get some time to process it. Right. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, but yeah, it wouldn't make any tangible difference until and unless a lot of people do it, though, because most of the people are
True.
just scrolling,
True.
including me, guys. 1 hour Instagram every day.
That is again
So
very
yeah,
honest.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
All right, that's amazing, Akash, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation. I hope you are as well. I am expecting a lot of questions from the audience about you, and I'm expecting your Instagram DM to be flooded with messages, and maybe some of the ladies would be
Wow.
interested as well, right? So handle
Oh,
them
ladies.
properly.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, no. I'm in a very fulfilling relationship. I'm at just
Yeah.
one person. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm lucky. Yes, I'm just really happy. Yeah. What do I say?
sorry to
I've been
shatter
lucky in
hopes,
my
everyone. Yeah.
no. But yeah, as I'm saying, I've been lucky to meet a lot of like have been in a lot of very fulfilling, loving relationships, even though they ended, some of them. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, my next question is about that only. So, what a great coincidence. Again, a beautiful statement by Mahatma Akash. So he told me once that I love love as an emotion because that's what keeps me moving every day like the snow piercer. This is amazing. It is as if I'm reading a poem on love, some lines taken from there. So that is the exact statement said by him, by the way, for our audience. So straightforward, I would like to ask you that, hey, what is your idea of love? And being from a generation which believes in casual hookups, breakup parties, and being from a generation which believes in changing the relationship partner every now and then, what do you perceive love as an emotion, as a person, you yourself, what is your idea about love? And the next question is that, do you believe that, hey, the way love has been showcased in books, in poems, in different creative art forms, the eternal love concept, do you think it has become obsolete now? And just like every other idea, the idea of love is also getting evolved, and we should now acknowledge that those ideas are now backdated and outdated, and the new concept of love is what we see around us. So what do you feel, from the perspective that you are living in that generation and you are living that emotion? What do you feel?
Wow, फिर से 20 मार्क का ऐसे भाई. But this is a really like nice question. Where do you even start, man? You asked me what's my idea of love. Like the reason I gave that like I responded that sentence like love, because like I was questioning myself. I was thinking about myself. Ki, hey, what's my like what drives me? It feels like as a whole, I've been blessed to have people who've been kind and very loving and supportive to me, and that is made that's what made me what I am right now, and it continues to do so, and I'm sure in the future too it will be the case. It's just a love from people in a lot of ways. I'm talking about all kinds of love, be it platonic, parental, familial, like all kinds of love, romantic love. So yeah, in that way, I feel like love is eternal. That concept, right? It is still definitely there, alive. I feel like as humans, we have in the last few hundred years, like our genome probably hasn't changed a lot, but this idea of eternal that love that we had, that we see from books or movies, it was just like few decades or centuries uh, back, that like the material that we had, right? So I don't think so there's a lot of difference. I feel like there's no difference as humans we've gone through. So that idea is still very, very alive and kicking for sure. Romantic love, on the other hand, if you are talking about that, but maybe previously people were not able to like hook up freely, or break up with someone who they don't want to be with, or having multiple partners. So I feel like people wanted to do that before too. It's just that they couldn't, maybe, right? Because like society as a whole was very patriarchal, heavily patriarchal, until a few hundred years back. It still is, but luckily that is changing. Um, yeah, but yeah, as a result of that, that change, I think we are able to see people express their kind of love freely, a lot more freely nowadays, which I'm glad, to be honest. And not just that, like I was a firm believer of having just one romantic partner throughout. Like my first relationship, if we start talking about that again, I can talk a lot. Very how do I say? I wouldn't change anything about that. I'm glad to have had that experience. It was a really tough experience, very life changing for me, and it molded me as a person. Uh, Probably destroyed and recreated me as a person in a lot of ways. Uh, that relationship, right? I wanted to be the one, just like you were saying, right? And yeah, maybe somewhere the idea still lives, but it's not. How do I say? Like I still feel like I have some love for my very first partner, right? But yeah, it is not practical to be with that person anymore. So you got to move on. So some things like have if they have changed permanently, yes, you have to move on and evolve as people. And yes, you deserve to get uh, like other, more loving, more wholesome and like compatible partners for sure. So I believe everyone deserves that. Everyone good deserves that. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, the idea of eternal love is still there. May not be in romantic. If it's in romantic, that's cool, man. Like I see people who've been together since their childhood. That's like so cool, right? I've always wanted something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I couldn't have it, but yeah, no regrets. But like that's the whole idea of love in general, to let people be what they want to be or do what they want to do, right? Which sometimes means that letting them go, right? In like that very sense, just letting them go. It is very difficult, but yeah, sometimes that's the best thing. It leads to better things in life. So that's what I feel. What do you think? Did I make any sense, brother?
Definitely you did, and that was a very
Yeah.
subtle good people you said, right? That everyone should get that love, everyone good should get that
Yeah.
love. That's what you said, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think I'll stick with everyone deserves that love, because people can be evil, but like maybe the circumstances force them to be like that. So I don't know. I think everyone deserves that kind of love for sure. For sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. And in fact, even I believe that. And also, I believe on the top of it that even if somebody is of the mindset that, hey, let's keep changing partners and let's do casual hookups, one night stands, and whatnot, at some point of time that person also feels that hey, there is a void in my life. I need to be with somebody whom I can look at every day and say that hey, you are the love of my life. So that point comes sooner or later in everyone's life, I believe. So again, the crux of it is that that idea prevails, right? That eternal love's idea that prevails in our generation as well down the line.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad that people are able to do whatever they want now, right? Even experiment with whatever they want, whoever they want. It. It is. It's nice because like that's when you know what kind of person you are and what you're expecting from the other person, right? So if you try to just fix with that one person and try to mold yourself into them or make them change them, like to fit you. I'm not talking about like reaching a middle ground that happens with every person, but I'm talking about like bigger, uh, bigger ideologies, ideas, things that if they're not matching, then there's no point, right? You got to change, and thereby you know yourself more and what you're expecting from the other person more. It's good to experiment. I think what is that movie? I forgot. Alia Bhatt and Shah Rukh Khan, that chair analogy that he gives.
Some Zindagi, I think. Dear Zindagi, yeah.
Dear Zindagi, yeah, 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 yeah. It's a it's a funny example, but it's like a very legit example. You got to try different chairs to find the right chair. And sometimes, maybe after finding the right chair, the chair breaks, so you got to get a new chair. So,
Yeah, I got that joke. All right, I
yeah,
hope the audience also gets it. Cool.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that is a very deep insight, I would like to say, and wonderfully put. That we need experimentation. We need that spirit of inquiry in everything, whether it be our studies or even in our emotions. Then only we would know ourselves better as a person, and we would be able to explore different dimensions. So that's wonderful. I completely agree. All right. So now coming to the most awaited part of this podcast, since at Choco Chips Incorporation we believe that we should celebrate failure as a badge of honor, and we should celebrate failures rather than putting it as a guilt or shame. So, do you think that we in our society see, even let's say, if somebody already has great thoughts, if somebody already has great wisdom, but that person does not prove himself or herself by, let's say, qualifying an exam, or he or she has not been able to prove something remarkable as per the societal norms, then we very easily term that person as a failure, and we very easily give that badge of failure to that person. So, what do you think? What do you think? What should we do to change this? First of all, what do you think about this mentality? What should we do to change this? And how can we come out of the mentality of wearing failure as a badge of honor rather than wearing it as a belt of shame, maybe? Yeah.
Okay. Wow, it's a very complex question to answer. But I love that the fact that you said that hey, we celebrate failures at ChocoChips, right? Thanks. I'm glad, man. I'm glad that you're asking people about their failure stories or how they feel about failure and how the society in general, like what do they see when they see failure, right? So very complex question. I totally understand. In a country with over 1.4 billion population, or in general, like on the planet, it's like over seven. I don't know what's the population. I know 8 billion, 7 point something. So at some level, you need some sort of benchmarks to set so that if you cross that, you will get into some organization or college. I totally understand that, but I feel like that can coexist with letting people be at a level they want to be, right? I feel like if you go a few years back in time when there were lesser people on the planet, you can be you need not be perfect, or in some sense you can be mediocre and still make a living, and that is okay. Like not everyone is, there is always like a bigger fish in the sea. There's always someone better than you. If you are working towards being better, even if it's like a small step you're taking, towards that, I feel like that should be and can be celebrated, which is again, it's not that easy to do in a place with a lot of people, right? It's very cutthroat everywhere. So yeah, you have to develop those skills and you have to be like one track minded to crack some things. I get both the sides. It is just sad that, and that's why I feel like um, advocating for uh, population control a lot of times, because a lot of problems that we have nowadays, if you go to the root causes, a lot of them are very complex problems which have many reasons uh, for the problem to exist, but you'll find population as a common thread in all of them. So so yeah, like there's nothing else we can do other than create spaces, in within your own families, where if you see someone uh, like failing or trying, right? Just like celebrate that trial and like maybe give them feedback if you're in a place to give them feedback, or just celebrate everything. Even failure can be definitely celebrated. My I feel like this I learned from my parents. Like I failed as a lot. Not I'm not talking about school, but as a person, I failed a lot of times. And my parents and like people who know me gave me the space to grow. Right. So that is what, like, giving that space, acknowledging that I fail, or just like being there to see the transformation, right? That just that being there, providing spaces to do that is very important, which I think happens in countries where there is lesser population. I believe like all these Nordic countries and all, where you usually find the best education system and all. Um, they don't. It's not cutthroat over there. It starts getting cutthroat after some level, but only after people identified what they themselves are like, or what their strengths and weaknesses are, right? So until then, I feel like, which is actually very well into 20s, to be honest, your mid 20s. Until then, you need that space to make mistakes, try out different things, and then find out your niche, I guess. And yeah, you can. I mean, like for systems to run, organizations to run, there need to be excellent people, and also there need to be like some people who are just okay at what they do, right? So then, yeah, should be able to provide space for both. Yeah, even for
That's
failures also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
perpetual
that's
failures. I mean,
again
yeah,
amazing, by the way. You said that we should provide space, and even I feel that
yeah,
that part is missing. We do not give ample space for people to come
Yeah.
out of comfort zone and fail and still go back with a smile, which happens
Yeah.
in other countries somehow or the other, right? So if you take the
Yeah.
example of Silicon Valley, so there people are
Hmm.
very proud that, okay, you were sitting in your room, but I came out of my comfort
Yeah.
zone, I tried and I failed. So I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
greater than you. Again, that part should not
Yeah.
come, that ego should not come that I am greater than you. That is
Hmm.
again would create, that can create a different problem altogether. But
Yeah.
as you said it correctly, population is one root cause, and also we can start it from our own family. That's
Tell
brilliant.
me,
Yeah.
like the viewers want to know, like, tell us what do you think about failure? What is where have you failed in life, in your own life, and like what did you experience from it? I guess.
I have failed multiple times, right? I have failed multiple times, and I tried to bounce back and have bounced back. So I feel that failure definitely is a lousy teacher, not success, because what happens is whenever you succeed, you don't have the time to learn. Basically, you are all pompous and you start celebrating. You feel you are the greatest person ever born. The times when you are in gloom, you are in misery, you are failing again and again, those are the times where you learn the deep dark secrets of life. And same goes with me. So first I failed in my grade 12. I failed to qualify the IIT entrance, so that was a major failure, right? So everybody was expecting, I was also expecting, but I couldn't go through it. But then I again thought that, okay, I proposed her so well and she refused. Now I will not accept. So that was coming out of a very childish perspective, I would see. But yeah, that was one thing. And then again, at different points, different things were there. For example, I remember in my school, I used to speak really well, but due to some certain kind of favoritism or certain kind of, maybe some of the teachers used to feel other way, or what was that, I do not know. But I was given less chances to speak, maybe in the school assembly or some competitions. So there I thought that, hey, I'm failing in some way. But that also pushed me to work harder, right? So yeah, so failures teach you a lot, actually.
Oh man, like I'm surprised to know that your teachers didn't give you an oratory opportunity. Are you kidding me, teachers? Are you kidding me? Look at him, he's doing a podcast. Like the way he speaks, it's crazy. For people who don't know, like he is like the way he puts his thoughts into words, it's a very difficult skill. Something I really respect a lot in ChocoChips. Can I say your name?
My name, everybody knows actually. Choco chips,
Everybody
yeah.
knows.
My name
Okay,
is
yeah.
Partho, yes.
Partho, yes, yeah, yeah. Partho, I said we're colleagues, right? Like the kind of ideas he gives, it's insane. I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it clearly shows that hey, something really beautiful can come out of a perceived failure. So yeah, it is. It's yeah. Thanks for sharing that story. Yeah.
That's so nice of you, Akash. Thank you so much. I know you are going to pull my leg after this, but
Is
thanks a
it
lot. Thanks a
what?
lot. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay.
Oh, tomorrow stand up. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. Cool. So I would like to ask you that, hey, coming from IIT, then into education, then into sport, then travel and whatnot, art. So you you have faced a lot of things yourself in your life, right? You have experienced a lot of things. So what do you think? I know it's a very big question and a very I would say literary question, but again, from your perspective, what do you think should be the blueprint of India as a nation? Uh, how should we perceive our future, and what is the way forward for us as a nation from your lens? Since you have experienced, you have met a lot of people, you have seen how people behave, what people are thinking, what different cultures, different traditions they are growing the way you have perceived. So what do you think? What is the blueprint of our nation? What should be the blueprint of our nation?
Wow, it's like if I become a prime minister or president, what should I do? That's pretty much like a question you asked, man.
Yeah, I told you
I
in the
should put
beginning
down
it's
my,
a heavily loaded
yeah,
question, but again, I want to know
yeah,
your
yeah.
perspective. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me take out my manifesto. Just 1 second. No, just kidding. So, to be honest, like, when you ask the question ki as India, right? I don't know, it's a manufacturing defect in me. I don't see the world in countries in terms of countries for some reason. Okay, but I do understand the world operates like that, right? And it's definitely necessary. Why is it necessary? Yeah, like just a bunch of people or like a few hundreds or thousands of people can only manage so much piece of land or so many people, right? So yeah, but I feel like nowadays people at the top, someone who can actually make tangible difference, create policies to make difference, want more and more for themselves, which is trickling down into a lot of difficult things for the common man. I feel like somewhere over there, changes can happen. Um, how can it happen? Of course, it's a very complex problem. You won't get the uh, you probably won't even be able to see the change in your own lifetime. But what can be done for India? Maybe yes, first thing, please somehow someone control the population. Then a lot of problems can be solved. If you can take
Absolutely
policy
true.
level,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Once that happens, you can do a lot of policy level changes, like national and state level policy changes, and just empower people, provide them spaces to do what they want to do, right? Infrastructure. Like, for example, taking myself as an example, I feel like I would professionally be in a creative field if I was shown opportunities, or there were systems to like give opportunities to that kid Akash, right? But there were none. Like I had to seek them
Even I
myself,
feel the
and by
same
the time,
exactly. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly, right. So by the time we find what you want to do, it is already like half your lifetime is done pretty much, or one fourth, which is a huge waste of space. Sorry, time. So
True.
yeah, empower people, empower women, especially because like a lot of what I am right now is because of the women in my life, for sure. Men equally, but a little bit more for women too, right? Because that's when I say that I feel like I'm very privileged because I've had very loving women in my life. So if you can empower women and educate kids and educate everyone, actually, like provide education opportunities, man, like countries like US and all, you have what they call community colleges, right? Where is that
Yeah, that's a great idea
in,
actually. Yes.
right? Community colleges, libraries, like for someone who wants to change and turn around their life, it is still an uphill battle always. Ki, hey, you need like your 12th certificate to get into college. Like, what if they were not in a place to do 12th when they were of that age, right? And they couldn't somehow get that certificate. They want to do some college now, right? So provide, I don't know, like have community colleges, provide opportunities for people to like, if they're willing to put in that hard work, uh, yeah, just like educate, provide opportunities to educate them. Research, I think that's a big issue. I think I'll touch upon a little bit on the IIT part here. Uh, I feel like even I'm not speaking about other colleges, just the college that I went to. I feel like this is the same for, it's anecdotal, but I feel like it's the same for all pretty much all the colleges. Uh, we, we, I think we create people who can just follow things but not create new things. Uh,
Yeah, that's
so which is
absolutely
kind of
correct. Right
sad.
from the school days, it happens. We
Yeah.
are trained to follow and not
Yes.
to become great thinkers. Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That's one of the biggest reasons I came into education is because I want people to question the norm. I want people to question me. I want my students to question me or push my thinking. When I was in IIT, I, I I didn't ask. I feel like I think I can count on my fingers the number of questions I asked my professor, or doubts that I asked my professor in from my whole stay there. Which is, like, looking back at it, it's kind of sad because I was an introvert back then. But where was the support from the top or the structure as a whole to help someone like me, right? So if you can provide that, like, uh, if someone is not asking for help, doesn't mean that they don't need help, right? So you yourself as a, like, country need to set up some, structures to offer the help. So yeah, welfare programs, education, women empowerment. What else? Policy level changes. Uh, what else? Oh yeah, this is one very big thing. Yeah, separation of religion from state. I think that is
Yeah,
one huge
definitely.
thing. Yeah,
Definitely.
it's
In fact,
political, but still,
also
yeah.
the caste politics, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, religion and caste, I think definitely they go hand in hand. Um, For sure, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've told you, but like, I myself am from a scheduled caste family, so I've seen firsthand how people can get affected by like, even like snide remarks, just a small remark from some kid who didn't know better, right? Who just, like, who's seen his parents or his family do it, right? So. Yeah, separation of, irrespective of, like, where, who you're born as a person, you need to be able to like, move forward in life. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't see, to be very honest, I don't see the it's very difficult to find hope here. Being a very optimistic and hopeful person, it's, even for me, it's very difficult to find. I'm not talking about just our country. I'm talking about world as a whole. Yeah, it's very difficult to look at the positive side here. But hopefully, things, maybe when it is 3023, this 1,000 years from now, things will be different.
Yeah, that's a far-sighted dream, but again, everything starts with a thought. So great, very well put, and you articulated everything wonderfully. So right from the population to the freedom of thinking, that's really amazing. So now our audience can truly understand that why I introduced you the way I did, because you have many colors to offer, and that's the exact reason I invited you to this podcast, right? And it's a wonderful conversation we had so far. Great, Akash. Thanks a lot for accepting the invitation. And I'll come to the last but not the least question. What is your absolute honest opinion about my baby Choco Chips Incorporation? Not because we work
Yeah,
together or we know each other. What do you feel about the products offered? Nothing will be edited. You
yeah,
can be as raw as possible. Just
yeah,
keep a
yeah,
bar in the language. Otherwise, YouTube will copyright it down. Yeah.
yeah. Like, Partho has been working on this baby of his for quite a long time, because he would, whenever we would talk in the stand-ups or outside the stand-ups, anywhere, he when I ask him a question about this, hey, like, what's happening with the project, bro? He'd be like, yeah, yeah, yes, yes. I've not been getting time, or yeah, I've been working on this on the last weekend. There's something interesting coming up. So, like, from there to actually see the channel being established and slowly growing, right? I think one of your videos has, like, over 2,000 views, which is
Yeah.
crazy. That's 2,000 people, man. That's crazy. Like, in context of, the biggest YouTube creators, if you see, it might be less, but 2,000 people is actually a lot of people, right? So I am really glad where you've reached. Uh, Firstly, because it is good to see the consistency. You said that you'll do something, and eventually you did it, right? So just this, like, massive respect for that, just that.
Thanks
Because,
a
like,
lot, Akash. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, like just the consistency. I myself struggle with this a lot. I procrastinate takes a lot. Consistency is a huge issue. So just to, as an outsider, to see someone being consistent and like actually giving birth to an idea they had into like its conception, right? So that's actually cool. And what I love about Choco Chips is that many things. First thing, I believe, yes, the content is very consistent, which I feel it's not only for the algorithm, but also like as a person, it shows that you are very industrious, very well planned, and you have like an idea pathway, right? So that's great. And not just in the amount of content you put, it's a branding. It's the evolution in every single video of yours, right? I think like for the people who will be watching this, if you go and see the other interviews, you can see the format of the video also like evolving throughout each video. So which is actually great. You see, I can see that you are putting some thought and effort into making this better with each and every video, right? So it's great, man. What do I say? It's actually pretty cool.
That's amazing. Thanks a lot, Akash. You have
Yeah.
you have said more than I expected, but thanks a lot. And in fact, I also admire your qualities in music and other spheres of life. And yeah, that's the mutual respect for each other and mutual
Yeah.
admiration, right? Which binds us well, right?
Yeah. Me
Cool.
too, brother. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed this because I really enjoyed this with you, and I'm pretty hopeful that we will catch up again in future after a few
Oh yeah, for
months.
sure.
Yeah, and we'll talk
Definitely,
about some
definitely
other
allowed to.
topics. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
the
for
next time
sure.
you'll be
Yeah.
coming here, you will be coming with your guitar, right? So
Oh,
everybody is now,
yeah, guitar is
yeah.
always there. It's right here with me. How much time do we have? I can actually play a song. It's 2 minutes 41. Should
Oh,
I
great.
perform
So
something?
So a happy surprise for all of you, and in fact for me as well. This is completely unplanned. So Akash has
Yeah,
agreed to play something for us, right? So that's
yeah.
wonderful, and that's so humble of you, Akash. Thanks a lot. So yeah,
Hey, always,
here
man. Like,
we have
I'm an artist,
Akash the
so
rock
yeah.
star. Yeah.
Rockstar. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So this is very unplanned for me also. But I know you will like this. Okay. Let's see. This is I'm not never performed this for more than one person. Only one person I've played this in front
Wow,
before.
we are really
So
lucky.
let's see. I'll definitely make some mistakes maybe, but let's see. I'm sure you will like this. Okay, let's go. Let's go. This one's for ChocoChips. इश्क में दिल बना है इश्क में दिल बना है ओ मिठा दे ये बना है मैंने तुझको चुना है ओ, तेरे सारे रंग उड़ के तेरा हुआ मैं सब कुछ छोड़ के ओ, इश्क करना ना पटोल के राज खोल के आया हूँ मैं सबको बोल के ओ, ओ मेहता चलेया गई और तेरा चलेया है जोर तेरा हुआ यार संसार में हुआ है संसार में चलेया गई और तेरा चलेया है जोर तेरा हुआ यार हुआ है संसार में
Awesome, awesome. That's great.
Oh,
And I can
shit.
understand why you said you would love it. So that's
Yes,
great.
yes.
Thanks a lot, Akash. This is brilliant. I mean, without any prep, you just performed as if you have practiced it. This is brilliant. And thanks for
I don't even
playing
know the
it for
lines.
every one of us because you said that you have only played it once before this. So thanks a
Yeah, yeah,
lot.
yeah,
Thanks a
yeah.
lot. Take a
Just
bow, man.
learning.
Come
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for allowing me to play. Love playing music to people. So
Pleasure
yeah.
is all mine. and we are all honored.
Awesome.
So thanks a lot. It was a great conversation and an amazing night
Me too,
with
man.
you.
Me too,
Yeah,
me too,
yeah.
me too, me too. Maybe, yeah, next time with a little bit of substances instead of just water. You know what I'm saying?
All
So,
right.
yeah,
You,
discussion will be in a next dimension for sure.
sure, sure. Definitely, definitely. Cool. So yeah. Until next time. That's again. I would like to thank you, and we are all honored, and we got wonderful wisdom snippets, and also more than wisdom snippets, your perspective, your different viewpoints. That was really insightful. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for listening, man. Thank you for taking time out for me. Yeah. Have a good night, folks. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment also.